The toughest part for me about having a company or being a founder is really trying to limit myself to not work all the time. I think I'm generally probably a workaholic. I need to admit that now. Now that I'm on video here, I can say it. It's just so much fun, and there is always so much impact of stuff you do that you can see it directly. That it's like a drug kind of. You get addictive to it. And it was something in the early days of Treve, of the old product, we were struggling a lot with. So I mean, we pretty much worked every day from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, and that not only fucked us up as founders, so Alan and me, but also our team. I'm glad that these people are still friends with us. My name is Alex. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Raza, an open source conversational AI company. So everything around making it easier for people to talk to computers. How we try to explain it in a simpler way is that the technology we are building enables better conversations than Siri does right now, with different components. So one of it is, for example, what we call qualification questions. So that's everything around helping the person that the system talks with figuring out what I want. Another thing we're doing is what we call contextual questions. So everything around referring back to something that I as a user said before. So maybe I said before that I'm vegetarian, and then I obviously don't want to have the suggestion for a steakhouse. The story actually starts 3 years ago, something when I met my co-founder Alan, and we sort of first got together and didn't know anything about startups. And I think the reason why we got together is because we both wanted to build a startup. We started to play around with different ideas and build a product, which ended up to be the company that got funded by Techstars. Pretty quickly found that it's a product that you can't build a company on, which for us was a really important learning, because obviously the idea was to turn this into a business and sort of make money with it. For us, it was a really hard decision to sort of stop working on it. We need to let our team go back then. Basically, we were kind of not bankrupt, but we didn't have much money left, and started to work again. That also was the time when I got into the factory and sort of started to be here in the community space. I think for us, that was an important point where we sort of started to experiment, and the factory just played a cool role in this. I think I got a bit distracted from this path of doing my own stuff while just being in normal university systems. So my dream job pretty much 4 years ago was always to become a consultant, and then maybe afterwards have my own company, because I felt like I need to learn something that I need to build this company that I always wanted to have. And that's also why in my master's I was just really interested in starting my own company, which again, I think is not the best motivation to start a business. It's better to start with a real problem that you are extremely passionate about and go from there. And if you think back, it's really that we've always both been super frustrated with pretty much shitty interfaces. Probably shittiest interface, it's maybe government or anything around taxes and stuff like that, right? But also insurance companies are not far away from that, and banks, and all the stuff that you don't really want to deal with, but you need to get it done. For us, Treve was the first go at this in productivity, and then we realized actually the problem is much bigger, so we really want to solve it in a much broader way. And that's also the mission of our company, to simplify the world's interfaces. The way how I think about it is that short term, maybe not what we do so much, but other parts in AI might create challenges. So if you think about something like truck drivers, I think there are 3 million truck drivers in the US. If they sort of are substituted by a self-driving truck, obviously they will be out of job right away. And I think it will be hard for them to retrain into other industries. And I mean, the same could be argued for us. What I think will happen, and we can see that already, that these people will have time to do more value-adding things. If we think about long term, I believe that there will always be new jobs or stuff that we don't anticipate yet. If you think 10 years back, people wouldn't have thought that there will be people doing UX design for apps. Overall, I believe that we should work less. If you look back 20,000 years ago, I think hunters and gatherers only worked for 3 hours a day. And I think that's a good amount. I think overall it will benefit society. What I want to leave behind with this is a world where people can just do more what they want, where they don't feel that they need to do something to feel some role in society or because they need the money or whatever. I strongly believe that people, if they can choose whatever they want to do, don't end up just playing computer games all the time. I think people are generally motivated to do cool stuff and also work with other people to have an impact on other things and other people's lives. And I think that's worth working towards too.